to the high gun as well. Army Geniuses. I don't know if they can turn this back around after the second life is claimed. They have to make an attempt though. You can't let him go away for a freebie. They'll time down him kicking. Prevents the Ravage once again, but Natsumi doesn't matter. It's going to look to stand his ground with a BKB. Reveals the Cataclysm as well. Will clean off Limb. Remain die about half health to play with 2. But they do keep at least the Juggernaut alive.
Yeah, they get something out of it. A little slow on the Cataclysm, has to be said, but still, they use abilities to fairly good effect. 5k net worth lead and not allowing Army Geniuses to come back into that game with the Aegis essentially being immediately reclaimed. So he's still got control over mid. Power still looking fairly healthy. That means that Natsumi can continue to farm and extend worth lead.
Yeah, what's he looking for next here? Scotty is going to make it very difficult here for Army Geniuses to blow him up. 7-0 and 5. Max having an incredible performance as well. The fact that he already has Aghanim's and is working into a BKB as his next item, he's just going to scale so well. Does have to be said as well that DB, he opted for a pretty stat-heavy build with only 1 point in the crit. He's just going to try and chase down CML. Ravage and Meta's on cooldown, so maybe they feel enabled to take a small little skirmish here. Whip him on the back. That's a painful way to go. Or CML. Whip before he dies and then getting the chop of the head.
I forget who was it, but someone did the maths for it and like essentially going this build with just the 1 point in crit is actually pretty damn efficient, you know, because not only does it give you the extra damage from the agility coming through, but so much more survivability as well. The improvement from level 1 to 4 isn't that big, like it's only 15% extra chance to crit.
Yeah, it's cool that he's
finally get the G1.
It's cool that he's put some more points in healing ward just for some extra team fight prowess instead of just like an Omni Slash capability.
He's looking to go into that Skadi as well, so eventually when he's able to get in onto the Terrorblade, that's going to go a long way to trying to man fight. It still does feel like they're lacking a bit of damage.
Top lane.
It's all on Wami right now.
Hold on, Mac QCML looking to try and counter Initiator. They're going to be fast enough to keep the Invoker alive. It looks like the Epicenter pulses will bring him down. As the big Rubbish to try and disrupt the team fight. Is it enough to give Natsumi time to beat them through? Because it looks like it's not, as Army Geniuses are preparing for round 2. Oh man, what a timing. Go.
Omni Slap available, but can he catch them? That's the key question. And Boomy, he's providing vision to his team. Dancing along the tree line as much as possible. He was caught out by the Observer Ward, which is never expired on that particular one. Safe retreat. Again, Wami just needs to have the perfect initiation every single team. The game is so heavily onto this Sand King's back. It doesn't matter that he died afterwards. You just need him to make sure that he's off those couple of key targets to start with.
It's signs of life though for Army Geniuses. Like it was getting to a stage where I was pretty worried if they were going to be able to get some foothold in this game, but we've seen almost back-to-back team fights where they've a capability to be able to hold their own, and now it's only a 2,000 net worth lead for Polaris, and Mac has also fallen a little bit off in net worth during how farmed he was previously. The main guy is taken over there, and he's gone into the tidal wave, so the Aghanim shard, and looking for an assault cuirass as well for his next item.
Like team fights, how MG is so close with each other. They've been playing together for the longest time. They've got a really solid connection. Do you feel like that's more muscle than, let's just say, laning, for example?
Diamond's top tower tower is under attack.
Sorry, say that again.
versus lanes. Team fight versus lanes. Do you feel like it's more based on muscle memory, right? Like, okay, you're gonna do this versus laning stage more like individual.
There's no way he actually gets me.
Just because, like, I feel the reason I bring it up is, like we were saying during the draft,
Yep.
they have had to play 5 separate official games. So I wonder how much that laning stage, well, no geniuses, it has to be said, be attributed to the fact that they were just exhausted after all. Yeah. This is Genius Dota. Grouping up with having to fight after the team fight, being able to execute their spells well around each other just is much more natural.
Yeah, there's definitely the argument for that. I feel like chemistry is going to flow through any stage of Dota, though. Like, you have the individual chemistry, not individual, I should say, like the pairing chemistry in the lanes. Like, your supports need to be able to work together from like the 7 to 12 minutes in a way. They need to, you know, the 5 needs to know how to play with the 1, you know, simultaneously jump in. Certainly Wami, they're even going to lay down the global stance to give Wami some opportunity to escape. He's still actually going to hide out of the burrow at the moment. Use in a couple seconds. Is it perfect? It is. Tornado just shy. And now they've given themselves an opportunity to drag back Nico to the arrow. Radiant, they still need to hold them up. They know their global's on cooldown, so Nico is just going to rev up the Ravage, heading up for the Cataclysm as DB now has to reposition himself. Get back to a respectable position. They're going to look to smoke.
They're to Boomy though. This goddamn monkey.
Again, Boomy to pop it. See, he jumped on forward. They're going to be cautious but blocked alive. But meanwhile, Natsumi on the outskirts of the Wukong just enabling the Terrorblade to freely right-click. They've killed off DB. They can transition forward for Wami as Polaris looks solid here in that team fight after a lot of ultimates were expended.
Middle tower
Got a lot of value out of that healing ward, but unfortunately for DB, he didn't drop his body slash. You know, he was being heavily targeted towards the latter stages of that around the Wukong's command, and well, maybe he had a similar issue that my computer did in that the frames just dropped by half as soon as all of that action was happening. You know, reflection, conjure image, and Wukong's all dropped at the same time.
So Boomy's doing way too much for them. Like, there's argument for this Monkey King to be banned out. With how I think it's, like, it did get nerfed, but I still think it's a really strong position 1 as he just eats an arrow.
I think it matters.
Yeah. It's argument for it to be banned out. Like, they can give it to Natsumi if they want, and with how well Boomy's played it, I really would not hate if they just first picked it.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I feel like it's just as strong, honestly, as the position 1, but you don't even need to into this position 4 role that seems so much viable these days. Another issue that I'm seeing, unless Army Geniuses are having like win after win where UK isn't dying super early on into the team fight, he's building into the refresher orb. You do not have enough mana to be able to get off a global silence refresher or global silence. Like, you are a good 3 short of your full mana pool.
Where are the mango trees? What the hell? Come on, Gaben.
You gotta play Nemesis to get mango trees again.
It's Nemesis. Oh, I was enjoying it. I could do my my cavern crawl with it. It was fun. I liked it.
Value. I wonder how Tidal Wave interacts with Monkey on the tree. Like, does it push him off, if that makes sense?
I believe so. I don't know. It should stun, theoretically. But for some reason, I feel like it doesn't.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
But this is
conceptually.
Dota.
Conceptually, I can say.
A lot of things that probably should work in Dota.
Theoretically, according to functions, I believe the Monkey King will stand afterwards. I mean, this is get in the area fast. It's going to be a second roast for Polaris as We got the Aghanim Shard, Aegis available, and well, they know exactly where AG are at the moment, so they are not worried at all.
Who's going to take this? It could be Leon that ends up taking the Aghanim Shard. He doesn't need triple meatball. Yes, give it to the support.
No, give it.
No.
You can really tell who's the support player, can't you?
Like, what is triple meatball going to do?
Bro, look at it. It's cold so awesome. Alright, we'll see. Knocked him off. It didn't stun. Boomy still is going to eat the full duration of the Epi. They're going to try and overlap the Global Silence to prevent the counter initiation as it hasn't come through just yet. They're able to lock onto a target on Polaris. They'll drop the Cataclysm just to limit the moment. Wami's just going to do a drive-by here, but he'll straight away burst it down thanks to the Finger of Death. Now, Natsumi's actually going to think about walking up high ground. I mean, he's got the Aegis, BKB, Meta as well. So he feels like he can man fight, but the only issue is there's multiple magic immunities to prevent the Sundog. Can he find a target? He'll use it on Mac. There's no combination with the Ravage, though, so Negro just sacrificed his life. The rest of Polaris were looking for a reset. CML, will he get the same fate? Let's do it, baby.
All right, he's getting close to the point where he can actually use two global silences.
My brain's growing.
Even just leveling up, right, is going to help. Decent in gain on Silencer, nearly 3. Go let him.
Even getting some of those talents. I feel like they're as important for a Silencer support. I feel like the 10 is definitely nice, but I don't know about the other ones.
15 is. Arcane Curse Slow is always going to be great,
sure.
Especially when you've got a Juggernaut and a clump around the similar sort of area.
I know it's a 6,000 net worth lead for Polaris. Are you still confident with how this lineup is able to perform? As Robin's actually caught out Mac. He's going to try and lay down the Wukong's, give Mac a little bit of space here to turn, and that he will. Just drop in the triple meatball. He's already shown some value here with a fresh Aghanim Shard.
It's a dieback as well, so they know that there's no Sand King available for the next 80 seconds, and you have to feel that Natsumi is going to feel very confident. You can see there the lines just drawn in on the minimap. They know that they want to push up this lane as quickly as possible. Nico, I mean, he's not going to have the Ravage, I suppose, which is a little unfortunate, but it, you know, you just want to pop the meta and continue pushing on forward.
Yeah, I
also,
don't know how
max value out of that
it.
Aegis too.
How long they got left on it? Oh yeah, 2 minutes, plenty of time. How do you contest this? Like, there's no way to stop the fight.
Yeah, I'm sure Boomy's just going to look to hop around in the trees as well.
Maybe a tidal wave, torrent, arrow. Okay, that's crafty.
He needs a meta though. He can just hit the tower and then like.
John, Boundless is off the mark. The Global Silence should give Meng Dai some time to get the BKB off. Now he's actually going to look to turn to the back line and giving time for DB just to siege Natsumi, but you recognize that the Terror Blade is just unbeatable. It's like, what do you do versus them?
I mean, it's not the worst though, right? Like, you kill the Lion, use another BKB charge on the TB, meta's used, and you know it's, they've only got about a minute or so left of that Aegis. So I feel like, as long as you've got the timing right, it opens up a little bit of a window here for Army Geniuses to make a play. Say at about the 35-minute mark. 35-minute mark, they're going to go for a smoke, but they're clearly feeling a little bit more confident than me. I thought they might look to wait for the next use of the Global Silence just to be able to try and take down this TB right when that Aegis expires. Holding this BKB in his backpack, so that's going to be even slower, going at half the rate, especially the cooldown. Again, he's doing a fantastic job of breaking smokes. They actually pinged in the trees that the Tidebringer connected onto something.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Level 18 as well on Boomy. killing him off is going to be that much more difficult.
See, now's when they should smoke, in my eyes. Global's available in 15 seconds.
And MKB.
MKB's available. Aegis is gone.
Tower is
He
under attack.
shouldn't have BKB, but he will because they haven't been very active. So it's a big window that unfortunately Army Geniuses have missed because of playing a little bit passive. A big part of that is the fact that Boomy's been there trying to split push as much as possible. Toss the Primal Spring, bound strike that leaps straight on trees.
I mean, you can't make plays if your lanes are not in a position to do so. And this is what the Monkey King just completely nullifies any opportunity of Army Geniuses. You see, they're still scouting with Mirana's choreo. It's... I might get him. It's just, my god, man, Boomy's doing so much. It's crazy. Again, you cannot make plays if your lanes are not in a position to enable it. The wonderful instant hex global silence overlapped as well. DB will just get away. That was a refresher used for the Cataclysm. So a big commitment to try and blow up DB, unsuccessfully, however.
D though, so maybe make them feel somewhat more secure than they probably should. He also got that refresher shard, refresher orb, correctly picked up onto UK. He went back to the fountain to make sure that he did have mana pool to be able to use it again.
On smoke, Natsumi. Double damage rune. Oh, they just saw UK. He's got his own refresher as well for the fight. If they can bring him down, it's a huge component. They'll get the target. They need to protect him as much as possible. If you can just get the global silence off UK. What's it going to cost? It's a burst through Mac in the lane, but Natsumi now with the double damage rune and the metamorphosis. However, it's falling low. We'll get the Thunder unlocked on Natsumi. Now we can turn back. The turn to control, but DB, is the damage going to be enough? They've already lost the Juggernaut. It won't even matter. It's an ultra for Natsumi. Give it a rampage, and they will. Oh, Natsumi.
They even ended up pushing Nico away with that down, and yeah, they could just look to convert that even further into more objectives. Luckily enough, they don't have the creep wave if you're an army fan, but they'll start to push in. I think they're still going to take a little bit to save. Nope, never mind. Misses are just going to call it right now. Fatigue is getting to them a little bit.
It's a long day for the boys. Unfortunately, I mean, we're saying we still think they have a best of 5 off as well.
I think they already played. That's the issue.
That's I mean, that is an incredibly long day, but they still have
Radiant's turn to ban. Seconds. It is Dire's ban. It is Radiant's ban.
Goodbye. It's like, where's the Army Genius to support? Again, it feels like you're the sixth man for any team you've got the background with, and AG, they need you right now. They're down a game. They need you. This is an important.
10 seconds remain.
Said Boomy with an excellent performance. That, you know, they can potentially go into the tide to super early on and not look to be punished quite as hard as if one pick could potentially still be in the pool.
It's another game, another opportunity for Danog to get mad at the Pango being potentially into the Bloodseeker.
I'm excited.
Very cool.
Right, they're still getting rid of the bench. We're not going to see any Pos 1 bench coming out. All right, I'm going Polaris.
Radiant's turn to pick.
Go on, let's see it.
Radiant's turn to ban.
Background stays. I had one ready and waiting to change if I needed to, but I just had a feeling, you know.
Okay, well,
You got anything to say to me about this?
silver linings. We get a Mimang Dyer potential job.
10 seconds. It is Radiant's ban. Dire's turn to ban.
Counterpoint, don't pick.
It is Radiant's ban.
That's a solid counterpoint. I don't have a rebuttal to that. So,
When you've got the last pick out of the first phase, just pick the Pango then. You know? Like, it
10 seconds.
I haven't seen any team with the flexibility of SMG.
5 seconds. It is Dire's ban. Seconds remain. 5 seconds.
what are they? Okay, so they're trying to protect the Gyrocopter, Lifestealer, TB, Morphling Band as well. So they still feel like there's some flexibility here with, of course, well, the Bloodseeker. We've seen it played previously on SMG. They love as a position. To give this over to CML, so there's potential for this to be their support opener or their line into 1 or 3 on Bloodseeker.
Looks like it is. "13 wins, 22 losses" when Tango is picked in.
That's a little bit too much for my liking.
It's honestly better than what. $3-0. Granted, that's when Pango has gotten a lot better in terms of the shield crash, just being able to be used for flow and the durability in lane.
Is that this specific tournament or 7.3 in 0?
7.3 in professional game.
Sure. Okay.
Professional team.
Yeah. Because I wonder, like, there must be some bias with us because I feel like we've just seen way too many Pangos not win this matchup. Now,
I wonder if I can filter it by the Southeast Asian region.
like, well, at least for do tournament.
The BTS process.
Yeah, but like I couldn't get it to work. So anyway, again, like Pango, you can itemize for it. We've seen supports. If you get to the stage, there's opportunities of Blink, Yulbs, Aghanim Shard, Aeon. You're not going to get all 4, but I'm saying you can maybe a combination of 2 out of the 4 can be nice and handy. We saw it sometimes in I-League as still played as a 3, and then they kind of go like second item Lincolns.
Legion Commander.
Wow.
It's 3 wins, 9 losses.
Okay.
I feel like it's been picked more than that. Anyway. And it could be across both
and
One big change with the Dragon Knight, though, is that they actually buffed him in terms of his uptime of the Elder Dragon form. I think it's like 10 seconds better?
10 seconds remain.
No, the Elder Dragon form didn't get buffed. The cooldown was reduced. It was 115
that's what I mean.
flat. Oh, so did you say
so
uptime?
The relative
or?
uptime.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Relative uptime. So 115 is still the same at level 1, but then level 2 you've got 5 more seconds of uptime, and level
Radiant's turn.
Are you looking at the full?
Does it go to 100 or 105?
It goes to 105. It's meant to go to 100 when you buy the Aghanim Scepter, but it doesn't yet. It's meant to, though. I've had that confirmed by... Sure, let's just call it.
10 seconds.
It's so weird to see an ultimate with, other than, like,
5
exceptions
seconds remain.
heroes, where, like, the Aghanim Scepter is included in the cooldown breakdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Overall, his base damage also got increased by 1, and the magic resistance on Elder Dragon form, the Black Dragon was up by 5% from 5. So the hero got buffed up a little bit. Intrigued to see them pick it up. I mean, they are lacking Tau push at a ridiculous level, but it looks to be that they're playing the Bloodseeker as a core this game, and more than likely their position 1 as Polaris. They've banned out the puck, so at least Army Geniuses believe with their lack of control that there would be big issues if they let something through like that for Mac.
Dire's turn to ban.
I do want to see a team play the Bloodseeker when it's actually played as a full. So you've got some farm so that you're going to be able to counter with items, opposed to just like so vulnerable against the Rupture, the Lincolns or a Lotus Orb or whatever else it is that you want to have on you. What else? They have nothing else that's going to be able to break
10 seconds remain.
Break the Rupture. Once you're in the
5
rolling
seconds remain.
Toss it on yourself, roll off, and what can they do to stop you? It becomes completely useless, the Bloodseeker counter to it. But then again, you've got this Legion Commander, which is most likely there to pair together with a Skywrath Mage for the combos, blah 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 blah. So it's just going to be a Pango 5 with a Gyrocopter position 1. They're waiting for their mid laner. Yes. Very easily. Although, against the Bloodseeker, you get a lot of thirst. You've got a Meepo getting consistent low across multiple heroes, but they don't have a ton of AoE damage.
Yes! So my homework for the next couple of days was supposed to be to play some Dawnbreaker so I could learn the abilities a bit better, but we got the first game of Dawnbreaker, and overall just
was Army Geniuses playing
and
it
was
as well.
Army Geniuses as well. It was main die. They first picked it last time, they're now 23rd picking it. They are yet to see their opposition though in the position 2 role.
Yeah, unless it's a bit DK, you never know. An extra 1 base damage might be the key difference.
Definitely. I think you put it with the Mirana lane though.
I think you do.
Alright, so conceptually, what do you feel like is good versus the Dawnbreaker? You don't have time, so just rapid fire, chuck some stuff out. That's not rapid fire.
Silencer.
I mean, that's good as well. That we saw that being the counter to it, right? As soon as you saw that.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh god, what's it called? Celestial Guardian?
Solar Guardian.
Solar Guardian.
And hang on a second. Why do I know better than you?
Because you're a position 3 player and I'm a support player.
What? It doesn't matter. We've gone over this. I don't know. Last time we cast a Dawnbreaker, I was literally reading off the abilities when we got in the game.
All right, what are the other ones called? Go.
Starbreaker? Luminosity is the E,
Massive.
and then
Come on, I said one of the words.
Hammer Throw, I think.
Celestial. That's why I got confused.
Well, we did see Silencer, like you were saying, was one of the biggest ways to deal with Dawnbreaker because of the channel. Just drop that global, no +1 factor. It did really come into fruition as the game went on. So
the damage from the last word consistently refreshes the arcane curse, so you get a little bit more value out of it. And I feel like you still kind of need it to be able to farm and have effectiveness in some of these early teams.
what's up?
So I mean, what's the play then? I mean, he's gonna need to change up the way that he plays on the map. They've got the Legion Commander and Skywrath Mage to potentially do that. And then once he's in the duel, you can look to combo that together with the Solar Guardian to, you know, explode on top of him. It's not like they've got any save to prevent that from happening. So I prefer this draft a little bit more than the previous one that they had. But that needs to be the way that they take every single team. You're not locking down the Silencer, you're never going to get off this Dawnbreaker ult.
How long is the channel time? Because good old tooltip, I cannot tell.
The next label, next label.
After a short duration, I think it's like 3 seconds.
Yeah. Short duration. Thank you very much.
Very obvious.
Very cool tooltip. Alright. I'm intrigued to see on how they can make the Skywrath Mage work as well. Because you hear that we've not contested too much. We have a huge fight. Alert of the Dawnbreaker.
Giving some farm over to Wami to start things out is certainly going to help things, allow you to play a little bit more on the front lines as well. We do need to remember that, you know, you've got this Legion Commander, you could potentially even use that for some kind of save. When he eventually looks to go into a BKB for himself, you might even be able to save that for the Global Silence, pop your BKB, you press the attack afterwards, someone else out of the silence.
Denied.
I'm just enjoying watching the main guy up against Mac at the moment for the first wave. Did solid with the 3 last hits. How do you feel like top is gonna fare? Because this guy seems like he should be able to have a decent time in the at least one-on-one matchup versus the Lion. Is there a way Bloodseeker can kind of help out the CML?
Potentially. I think they need to be wise about when they go for their combination. I've already tried it once with the Earth Spike into the Blood Right to be able to try and pressure out Wami, but the big advantage that these Army Geniuses heroes have is that they're very fast, naturally. 325 movement speed on the Skywrath Mage, 330 on Wami. So I think they need to wait until he's already used the the overwhelming odds, so you don't have additional speed on top of that, and you can actually look to land some damage out, because right now, they're just bullying Natsumi away whenever he comes up to try and get those last hits, and in that sort of way, get any kind of regen coming in for himself.
Boomy might be in a bit of trouble down bot. DB has the level 2 advantage at the moment, and Boomy's gonna give up the second kill. So Nico as well is not living too healthy at the moment down bot. I was looking to see if maybe Polaris with their mid and bottom lane could kind of help out top with the thirst, but at the moment that doesn't seem to be the case. Trading pretty efficiently versus Romy, in fact, and Natsumi continue to chase him down. I think he's got the movement speed to go up against the odds, however.
Your loyalty will be rewarded.
Legion Commander is another one of those heroes that in a melee v melee matchup, of course, you've got the moment of courage to be able to try and turn things around and get some decent lifesteal, trade effectively against these melee heroes. But Bloodseeker is pretty damn good at it as well, right? You're always going to have that that lifesteal coming through. Finish a last hit. Kind of similar to how the Monkey King has just become so effective in lane. You know, you're up against these heroes that might be a little bit more difficult against a melee hero naturally, but you've just got the Jingu Mastery to made really effective.
And that second point in thirst as well is just going to make it that much easier. In fact, they've got a great setup, and this should be their first kill for Polaris, as CML is the one to find it. We've seen a lot of contention on back against the Dawnbreaker. Just the early point in Glaives, and now he's got 2 points in the Arcane Curse, so doing a good job to continue to harass the Dawnbreaker, which will enable pop. And as we've seen down bottom, there's already been a lot of kind of small engagements back and forth, and I feel like that will continue now that you have like an easy way to set up for the arrow. We're seeing this come into play right now, but Nico's taken the full brunt of the force. The help of the tower attributes and 2 points in Dragon's Blood. They won't be able to find that last little bit of threshold to kill him off, though.
I won't let you win.
Over at Tango there was Boomy to make sure that he's still perfectly capable of fighting him. That's 2 points in the arrow as well. They're able to get it onto him.
She's gonna stand their ground.
Pressure's gone, so perfectly able of doing it. I'm sure they're mousing over, seeing what his mana's looking like, and nice little juke there. Very few people know how to get through that spot. Tries to take in all of the arrow.
Such an outplay, and then that's how you repay yourself. Oh, that is no good. How's Mangdai going? So on the 1-3-1 build, I believe we saw him do the same thing last time when he was playing the Dawnbreaker.
Yes, he put points into Luminosity after that, I believe, just keeping the 1 point into the Starbreaker, where he went the level 10 talent to increase the damage in that way. I don't mind it. I mean, against a Silencer, you are going to have a lot more difficulty walking up to the lane, so by being able to use the Celestial Hammer to at least secure the range creeps, it makes life a little bit easier for you.
Natsumi's in trouble up top, though. He was kind of ditched from his support, and I don't think this movement speed is going to be enough. They just need the vision for the last Arcane Bolt. And with only 1 point in that, the last concussive shot, they'll secure the kill. So Lin, being able to pick up his first one of the game, should be enough for his secondary null very shortly. I really like how they paired up at least an aggressive person to play with the Legion. Not only the Sky, you've got the Dawnbreaker, who, like you were saying, could have this +1 effect on the dual target, with the ultimate coming through, and maybe the burst at the last second to get the victory. But I just have not been fans of Legion when I haven't seen them scale as much. Like, you turn into this like 3.5 heroes for that bot. Max, he's caught out of the river at the moment. No, is he not with the haste? He actually play aggressive at the moment. They've got to drop the global silence. He's been able to stack up a little bit of intel to increase his damage. But Mangdai is even going to chuck out the ultimate to fly up high in the air, but the skies will not protect him as Boomy secures that. And Mac's not done just yet. He'll also get some more plus intel and an observer ward on top of that. Mac's loving life.
Yeah, having a great time. Still super early on, so that Solar Guard, you're not doing that much healing. I mean, honestly, if you just turn around and hit the Dawnbreak, you're probably dealing more damage than the 45 heal per pulse that you're able to pop off there. Felt like a little bit of a desperation play, and that was the wrong move, actually, to try and live with that, because now, when you're going to have that dual damage and not the global silence, it reduces the impact of being able to potentially join in and get that first value duel. Said before, you really need to make sure that you're getting this scaling on Legion Commander as much as possible. First Blood helped, but now I feel like unless you're getting the duels as well, no. Imagine if they killed CML or Natsumi or someone up here.
Yeah. It's... I feel like they need a rotation to do that. I don't know if the Sky is enough, because now Bloodseeker's power in the lane, like he should be able to kind of zone them off to bringing CML down at a weak stage. And yeah, here's the extra rotation. It's going to be Mamang Dire. Max out points in the Celestial Hammer, and CML is in a bit of a compromised position at the moment. Need to make sure they pick up the victory. It's so important. Oh, block him from getting... Oh, okay. Didn't play it on for a couple of seconds. Nonetheless, Swami picks up the kill, so you'll still take that one.
Midas, kind of like we're expecting from this mid-silencer. Again, it's good that you're pairing the Legion Commander together with more of an aggressive support in the Skywrath Mage, but if you're not making these rotations through onto a silencer who's very squishy in the laning stage and has no escape mechanisms, then it feels like you're not taking advantage of the key weaknesses of the hero.
Dire's middle tower is
Draws out, wait for damage to go through. They do. Wami getting a nice little moment of courage proc, and he's actually looking to stand his ground and man fight versus the Bloodseeker. Swami is an exceptionally high level and has got incredible itemization as well early on to help battle it out. They've already put a lot of priority on making stacks as well for the Gyrocopter. DB's had a relatively good lane, 1-1. 49 last hits is starting to make his farming progression towards the triangle.
Going into the Chrysalis first as well. Playing any kind of Aghanim Scepter builder.
The damage for Natsumi is actually falling a little bit low here with the Blood Rage. Dance to prevent the +1. Do still have Skywrath Mage nearby. Let's see if when we can land up the target. They want the Bloodseeker or the Mirana. Natsumi, of course, would be a much more valuable target, but as long as you get the first or second draw victory of the game, and you're more than truly happy with that, and even Mamang Dire, you should be able to cut off the retreat. Oh, what a placement of the hammer, Mamang Dire. If she's played the hero a little bit.
He has, but he's still kind of making the same mistake.
This is big, deeply down bottom.
It is. He attacks up to Wami as well.
He rotated back down to the lane. I thought he was going to make the move to the triangle, and now Wami as well was having an exceptional time up top, but he tried to be the extra support. And juke himself away to safety. Is that enough? The curse slow should give him ample time to get that last little stun to lock him in. And yeah, I mean, Wami was having an incredible start, but they don't keep DP alive, and you also will end up losing the tower along with the streak. So Polaris back to the lead.
All right, so the difference this time around, I was kind of looking at it with the previous cooldown. Soul seconds left on its cooldown. Global silence 55 seconds. So you need to be in position to use it immediately when it's available, so really get value out of this. If they compare it together, that's great, but Wami, even though he's had a good start to the game with that death, it's going to push him further away from that Flick deck. So it's still 700 gold away.
Gonna need a amount of defense mid. Polaris looking to group up with his catapult. They don't have the Elder Dragon form to synergize with the timing. Looks like unfortunately just a little bit off the mark there with the potential to take the tower, but you're forcing some heroes nearby, giving a lot more space here from the Silencer to work towards the Midas. They get the dual victory, then you'd be loving life right now. Oh, poor Boomy. Oh, no.
to their top tower.
Dude, poor Wami. He's got 2 dual victories that are just being snatched away from him.
He should be on plus 40 damage right now, but it's just plus 20. Also, not even just that, like, taking the kill, the last hit away from him, just pushes him further away from that Blink Dagger time.
This is a big way for them to make plays across the map here on Radiant.
Again, they didn't end up using the Solar Guardian before the Global Silence is available, so for Magdire, it feels like he's just going to need to walk around with the rest of his team to try and get a kill. It's going to be so much more difficult.
A blind blink on the high ground. They've also got the potential to zap through thanks to CML. That is not a higher ground you want to face. Trade a 1-for-1. Then you have a ward on the back line, actually.
I mean, DK for a Pango, I'll take that. DB, you don't want to be put out of it.
He's got 1 nearby at least, who's just going to eat the arrow. Better than the Gyro Coupler. Don't lose the Courier. No! What?
It's
The micro! Oh, they're taking some of the Ancients. Plus 71 gold. Ruby's gonna get the other one too.
In Australian culture, that's what we call taking the piss, with some of the movement, some of the micro coming out there from the courier. Oh yeah, put over onto the high ground and he would have been totally fine. It would have lived, you would have still had the arcane boots on Lim. At least he's got the Blink Dagger now. Again, Silencer is the key target. You can see that's what they're pinging out onto as well. They're saying, we need to kill this guy. And we can, Magdire. He's waiting in position, there we go. Every time, that needs to be what happens.
Yep. A 1-2 punch, they've got the Jewel, along with the Mystic Flare. Just icing on the cake with all the extra heroes nearby. This should be the tier 1 tower. They are lacking some of the creeps, which makes it a little bit more difficult, but they look to try and occupy Polaris's territory. They do need some objectives.
Dak as well though, DB, he's in the region, able to take that. Plus the hard camp at the same time, bring himself up to level 10, and after this Chrysalis, it's a pretty value item. He's going to build into the Aghanim Scepter after that. I'm still a little bit concerned that if he gets caught out on his own, Chrysalis doesn't provide anything in the form of stats, it's just pure damage, so still left kind of vulnerable.
I wonder if it feels like early on though that you've got 3 points in pressed attack and early blink, so Wami is more than likely going to be able to get your safety off, and you have a Dawnbreak at a front line for you and a Pango with roll as well. That's gonna cause a lot of chaos. So I wonder if he feels like he just needs the damage to combine up early instead of those stats because of how the heroes can almost play in front of him and protect him.
I suppose it is a ballsy way to go about it, but it's like they don't have good ways to take team fight. You've got the Blink Dagger on Nico, you've got the combo together with the Lion, with the Mirana.
Again, Mac, they jump on forward, do they have to damage this time? Oh yes sir, they do.
Every time that needs to be what happens. Silencer is incredibly squishy. He's gone for this Hand of Midas into the Aghanim Scepter build, which you just kind of need to do, right? You want to make sure that you're scaling Silencer. If you let him have his own game, he will straight up carry every single team. Punish him, very different story.
Nicely done from Wami. Another thing that Polaris are needing is... They call that DB bottom? TP! Okay, he's Yardy. Dire, we're seeing...
And they would have seen those TPs come through, so they could potentially look to make a play up towards this top side of the map.
Sure. Yeah, they do. 5 seconds.
The prize is mine.
Wami's still sticking around mid, though, and they're going to see him running through the river. Very nice ward from Polaris. This is another thing that Polaris are very much reliant on is the initial stun lock into arrow follow. I mean, it feels like any Mirana lineup, like it's just cookie cutter now. Like we've seen this hero for quite a while. Last patch it was very, very common, and you need that stun setup into the long 5-second arrow. So any hard dispels is a great way to mitigate that potential. That's something to keep in mind as the game goes on.
Lim's just trying to bait himself a little bit here. On into the trees, paired together with Wami.
Eager to know Dire's whereabouts.
Feels like a lot of time spent doing nothing. I mean, if I'm Wami, me. I want to make sure that I can get into that creep wave, try and get my level 12 as quickly as possible so that the bonus duel damage is going to rack up much faster.
Yeah, what's he going for next as well?
Like a Lotus Orb to be able to counter out the global silence, it seems.
It's almost like the Abaddon roll in a way. Okay, should be going down here. Nice setup from Boomy. Yeah, it's almost like the Abaddon roll where you just need a way to purge off your own silence and then you can protect someone else. And not only that, like the armor is going to be nice, I guess, versus the Bloodseeker. Is a lot of mixed damage, so like it's really not just physical, but you'll take it nonetheless. It's still also the against the Lion, against the DK, so the Lotus does have some pretty solid components to it. I wonder how he's going to scale going into this, however.
I mean, it has to be just a straight off victory, right? CML is going to walk into him.
Nice hex timing.
Careful movements here.
Well, now Wami almost give up his life, although he's got the Solar Guardian heal. They didn't Global Silence after. They actually just wanted to bait the Dawnbreaker to commit forward. They knew it was a freebie. They had no doubt from Polaris, and now they can try and chase down Lim as well. Might be protected for some duration with UK. Do they want to turn it to optimistic flare? They do. It's still the target nonetheless. It's going to be the Skyeth Mage as Nico. He's got the answer. An instant follow-up there as it's a 3-for-1 in favor of Gaia. And just more intel as well for Mac. The brain is growing larger.
Yeah, he was the one to claim 2 of those kills. One of them was a streak, and that is going to be enough to finish his Aghanim Scepter. So, Big Brain plus Ags, 18 minutes in with a Midas. This is a scary-looking game if Army Genius.
It is at least close in regards to net worth, but do you feel like they are going to get to a stage where they can take team fights? Are they really waiting for their BKBs on Army Geniuses? Could that be the items to kind of break open this game for Radiant?
Waiting for the BKBs. I think, again, it's just about getting that initial pick off. Like, at least you've got now level 10 on the LC. He's going to be able to pair together nicely with the Skyreth Mage. But what kind of vision do they really have? They've got one ward inside their jungle, but Boomy's the one that you want to try and catch here.
Okay, well, at least they got the duel off.
Smokes out there as well. The level 10 talent, he didn't go for the extra dual cast range. That was just a little bit of Ice Frog smiling on us all.
Often, like, I'd say that's not worth it if you're getting a support and no objective, but at least there's some scaling on Wami, and he's already got 60 damage. At pre-20 minutes in, you've got to be pretty happy. Now, you do give up your tier 1 mid, but it's giving him some way to make it towards the later stage of the game, because I think he's going to need to have that scaling potential if Army Genius is going to have an opportunity here. They're cautious. Wami, press attack still on cooldown. They use it preemptively. UK's gonna give them some time to reset the fight. Yes, it'll cost him his life, just ticking out there to the bleed effect. They need a way to try and cancel Nico's stun. DB's just gonna go for a blind TP inside the tree line. Just hoping that maybe Nico was gonna guess wrong, and unfortunately for him, he was straight on point.
He gets away. Mamang Daya still not joining into that team fight. Full damage room.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
On to this. Yes, it sucks that you lost 3 heroes for nothing. You know, you saw that they had to TP up towards the side. You didn't.
Want this to kill back? And maybe with the Solar Guardian, it's underneath the TG tower, man. It's so deep. It's gonna cost them so much as well as Max scurries away, and he's just laughing after him, stealing more and more intel. The huge brain going almost to the Giga Brain.
Tanky boy right now, even with the Nether Shawl, you know, the -3 armor on it. It doesn't really care all that much with the amount of it it's been able to steal. Fairly tanky with the Aghanim Scepter on top of everything. And I'm very worried going up against this silencer. He's scaling incredibly well. Equal highest level in the game, and I mean, that level Fine, so you're not even that worried about your late game scaling potential.
Not at all. I mean, I really thought it was going to be the BKBs here for Army Geniuses, but they just... that kill on DB really cost him drastically. I mean, he's got Ogre Axe completed, yes, but it's just slowing down the timing that I was seeing coming out from him, like the double BKB on Gyro and Dawnbreaker to take a fight, maybe then into a big objective. They don't do so successfully. Now Polaris are completely broken this game in half, and...
You know, UK's here, they were correct with their scan.
For UK. And Natsumi is not even at his final form. Far from it, in fact. I still think this Aghanim shot on a Bloodseeker 1 is really underutilized, and I feel like it's going to take some time for people to start to give it the value that I think it deserves.
In this game, it's not amazing. Like,
Without it, yeah.
There's at least that little bonus.
I definitely don't think he'd get it like anywhere near the item he has right now. Like, I think still it's like in 10 minutes, but I'm just saying, like, if it was an even game heading into the late stage, like, I feel like you surprisingly match up a lot better than expected.
Actually coming back, I'm not sure if that's the right choice. You just use the duel. You got the duel victory, I suppose.
They can block in Natsumi to stop the drop shot. They're doing a solid job first. Drop shot finally flies, but they've dealt with the ages. Dobersaurus is still waiting in the wing as well for the respawn, but now with the BKBs, they've used it preemptively here, so they won't protect them and refresh their abilities, but it looks like Polaris sounding the retreat. Maybe they can rally around on the backline's back. Beautiful use of the Aghanim's last word, but McIntyre will just rip apart CML. They're going to look for a TP. Jules still on cooldown to damage the old-fashioned way. That's enough. So it looks like Mac, unfortunately, a bit of a long TP there to escape.
Was thinking that maybe that TP was a little preemptive considering you didn't have the duel available, but Julie then with their good timings, are they going to try and go for a duel here? Doesn't have to manage to do so. Alright. Army Geniuses giving them more and more chance, bit by bit. They're able to retain their tier 2 tower as well. They've got a lot of wards in their jungle. Not it out just yet by the supports. I was about to say, like, it had reached the stage where the first couple of kills onto Mac were great, right? Like, you got the dual victories, result of those engagements, so even though smokes are quite a precious resource...
Oh, not DB. They're hunting the Gyro. BKB's still not yet completed. He's got one on the backline. Maybe they can turn to fate. Great dual touch, but they have to damage Simo instantly. A headstring and Natsumi. All of a sudden, it's got full health to work with. No hunt down the main Dire. One more swing from afar with the dual cleavers. 10 into 2. Polaris, man, what an answer. Their own counterattack.
Slow response, if I'm being honest, from UK, right? You use the Rupture to be able to go in onto the Gyrocopter, so they actually had a free way to take that team fight, but up all towards the top side of the map, with TP off cooldown, not to take it.
Radiant's middle tower.
CML coming in clutch again. That could have very easily turned around with that duel onto the Bloodseeker, and well, what do you know, with the fact that they were able to turn it around, that also gives Natsumi an extra permanent 20 damage.
Oh,
An easy shot.
Okay. Or scaling. It's not just the sound, so Natsumi's like, you know what? I can do it myself too, DB. Hold on a second, brother. Not the same spot. They instantly started to beeline once they saw him de-warding, but Polaris, it's a bit too far away for them, I say that. Light, ready to rock and roll once again. Whoever shows mid is the target.
UDB.
Oh, not you again. You're so close. The global silence, no messing around, making sure they can just blow up the Gyrocopter. And there is zero contestation at all.
The lack of kills, of course, on Wami means that he's not scaling as well as you might like. That's the obvious thing, but it's more the unreliable gold that he's losing, the farm that he's missing out on. I mean, I can see Mamang Daya is taking this, but I feel like whatever Mamang Daya purchases is going to turn around the result of this.
Mage Slayer, I don't know, man. That item's kind of dope. You're a hater.
Nope. Tommy having Lotus Orb can potentially change this game. Because, like, DB doesn't die there in my eyes if you've got the Lotus Orb to purge yourself off, get the press the attack on, and maybe you look to make a turnaround attempt.
Top tower
Oh, Wami. See, no, I wasn't
Position.
looking for the jump in. This is really, I don't know, like he had a really good game on Legion early as well, and he was getting a lot of duel victories, but does this just not feel like it always happens? I guess the big issue is like, how do you keep up in farm? Like when you get to this stage, you have to now funnel everything into your other cores.
Well, I feel like you're able to farm well in the lanes, right? If you've got the plus damage to be able to, you know, do it quickly, not be revealing yourself long. But, you know, a couple of those gank attempts just didn't turn out too well for them. They went on the wrong targets. They used the global silence a couple of times to counter out the Dawnbreaker initiations, and yeah, I mean, things just haven't worked out for Army Geniuses the way that it probably should have. Not just like him. He's gone into an Aether Lens, which of course it's important to try and get that ancient seal off, but it feels like a couple of times people have just been able to walk away because unless you've got that Blink Dagger available and you're able to get the duel off, there's no reliable stuns right now on Army Geniuses. Even something like an Aether.
Not this, Natsumi's got a DD. Trying another attempt here, but he gets the BKB before the Mystic Flare. Now Natsumi is just standing his ground and man fighting. He doesn't even care about the damage. A 1-for-1 to start the fight. It's kind of split in two. As Mac going to attempt the TP out, he's so far in the backline, but they don't have a way to cancel. There's Natsumi. Might feel free to just beeline it in. Polaris thinking otherwise. Huge odds from Wami. Might just end the tail of this first team fight, but either team still have four hand in hand around the middle lane. You can see a third round breakout as Polaris looking to rally around their own higher ground here, but Army Genius is a little bit too cautious of the potential double back attempt.
I hate it if Army Geniuses just waited a couple of seconds, fix the lanes a little bit, magnify towards that bottom side, and then look to try and make another engagement. Have the duel, they would have the Mystic Flare, cooldowns available, no Dragon. I was talking about before the fact that relative to last patch, you've got about another 10 seconds of that uptime, so it feels more important than ever to try and punish it when you do have the DK with his ultimate.
Remember in I-League, we were seeing a couple DKs still, not a whole lot at all, but the DKs were going like Blink BKB, then another utility item, and then Ags. I think it was pretty common that the Halberd, and I mean, I like this game, no reason not to, but it seemed like, now this was before 7.3 C of course, but like still the Chinese players were liking the Aghanims just a little bit later in the game instead of kind of the early rush we were seeing previously.
Oh, I mean, previously you had 40% magic resistance on it, now it was really 20, so it's got back up to 25, so a little better to bring it back into this. Now let's have a bit of a think about what the intelligence is in all of these heroes on Army Genius's side, because it's looking pretty damn low relative to the silence. So that last word, especially now that he's hit up onto level 20 and gone into the talent, pretty damn effective. 4.2 int multiplier, so much more damage. Remember, it's got the Aghanim Scepter, so it's AoE, his last words. Look to see Mac dish out a ton of damage from afar. He's looking to match up the build that Moon went for, actually. Going onto that Blink Dagger and place super on the backlines, just divide essentially.
Do you feel like this is priority number one here from Army Geniuses to somehow find Mac?
is under attack.
Absolutely. But he's right in the middle of every single one of these engagements.
Eco. Slither on past.
Scanning for enemies.
Shadow in the night. No one will find each other. Catch Boomy on the high ground with their ward. Has he got a gem? Okay.
Careful with his positioning though with that gem. You don't want to be giving that up, especially when has Wami in the area. I think they called the Celestial Hammer go out towards the Roche Pit as well.
I believe that was just the Guard he completed as well for Nat Jumi. A great way to Gyrocopter, the range carry getting double the bonus from it with the attack slow, the 50% movement as well. And UK's got some big cojones just to cover the pit like that. Alright, so these... What do you feel like the avenue back into this game is for Army Geniuses? Is it a fight around the Roche Pit? Is it an item timing they need? Or to cut the map in half, maybe look for pickoffs?
I mean, it's not like in a lot of these other games where you feel safe to have one of your cores on the side of the map because they've got great escape potential. None of them have great escape potential. So, you know, you might need to use UK to do a lot of this push. So I think it is just going to be all around how you play together as a team, as opposed to any kind of farm that you're going to be able to get. Gyrocopter has nearly reached up to his level 20, so, you know, that'll bring him closer to Panic, as well as just having the bonus movement speed to be able to get around in these team fights. I think, honestly, it's just all about Mac. Are you able to get it onto Mac? Enough for his Dragon. Now, if he wants to spend it, but I feel like when this Roche is up, having the global silence is so much more important than having Blink Dagger available. Even in the instance that you get jumped. Fly back and instant pop it, potentially turn around a team fight. Pretty damn significant.
Radiant needs some time. Like, this is huge on DB. I feel like you just sell slippers or something. Yeah, there we go.
Well, careful.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
He just walks on up, gets rid of the courier.
They're gonna jump in. They won't have some time before the Satanic is ruptured out, so unfortunately UK won't have much time left with this life as well. But they've dropped the global silence. DB instantly gonna purge his thanks to the freshly picked up Satanic. Now they're gonna look to jump in forward. A little bit wasted here on the initial life turret. They're trying to find a target. They won't be successful onto Wami. They're cutting the Gyrocopter to a decent level. They'll target down Nico. There's no survivability coming into play. This Nico will fall, so they've got to be careful of DB. Another huge odds as well. It's Max the next target. Maybe this is the route back into the fight for Army Geniuses and the game.
Yeah, Creep Wave ended up blocking him up. Even the leap able to get off before the Ancient Seal was used. I don't know if they have the damage to be able to take this. I suppose there's no turnaround potential if they were opting to turn it to Roche, but... I don't know.
Alright, Natsume's got to pack if they can contest it. They got no global. BKB's on cooldown. I do not believe they have the opportunity, and well, there's the avenue back in. As DB, that was a huge timing on the Satanic picked up. He didn't have to commit the BKB to dispel the global silence, which could have left him a little bit vulnerable, and he was able to just charge on forward. They've now got the Aegis on the Gyro, Aghanim Shard on Dawnbreaker as well, so you gain magic immunity while you're using Starbreaker, his Q, her Q.
So, again though, that was another fight where Dawnbreaker's ultimate was completely nullified by the use of the... But at least now, with this Aegis of the Immortal, you could look to put DB more onto the front lines. So as long as he's playing around somewhere where the rest of the team can TP into, you have some solid turnaround potential.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
As long as the team is able to quickly connect to him and look to turn things around in that way, then I feel like you can be playing this more aggressive style as Dire. Careful about playing on the bottom side of the map.
It's surprising that the net worth wasn't cut into as much after that fight.
Might find Nico here.
Oh, Blink.
So slow.
The prize is mine.
Nico is just... I'll just run through the lane, no stress, and there we go. The Ag Scepter is queued up. It's Dragon. Seems to be the... Just hearing his voice line. This is soon to be the big black dragon that's very difficult to deal with. It's fascinating on how the Silencer now can clear waves as well. This has always been a big issue with the hero, but Aghanim Scepter, the Arcane Curse as well. You chuck Last Word, chuck your Q out, and very easily start to farm without really putting yourself in a compromised position.
He's trying to quickly backdoor the tier 2 tower. They'll let the creeps do it.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Get the outpost if they're counted actually. Now that means Army Geniuses taking control of the enemy side of the map. Exactly what you want right now. Is that a Direct Goddess? Little lags now. Going into an Octarine.
Is there anything going on the Courier?
No, just a Chalice.
They nerfed that, right? It's one of the few ones. I think, yeah, just down... touch a little bit. Yes, sir. Well, that's nice for the Gyrocopter, who Daedalus is now completed. DB is getting very farm. Tika still hasn't opted for the Aghanim shot as well.
Okay, they're trying to see where the rocket came from. They pinged it out as well, the fact that DB was there. I like the fact that he's sitting on the front lines. Again, just hanging him out there. Here's the bait.
Do need at least one me nearby. If DB gets caught right now, they're a bit split. Oh, DB is a madman. He's got ages.
I mean, I feel like if you make that sort of play...
He goes up. Okay. Lotus Orb himself as well. They're going to try and chain lock him down. Solar Guardian. Sustain is not enough. Megdire... He's even got a BKB as well, just to secure an attempt to escape, and Nico's gonna give him the opportunity though. Getting rid of the opportunity for the Dragon Tail.
Hit by the full arrow as well. Yeah, I feel like with that play that DB made, they're like, okay, surely this is bait, because this is the way this Gyrocopter's gonna go in onto it. Turned out it wasn't, but yeah. When the Legion Commander does it, they're like, alright, this guy's just out of position. Punishing him accordingly. Of items being picked up after the 37-minute mark. Spell Prism, most importantly. I wonder who's going to hold on to that one. DK just, yep, give him even less uptime than, downtime than before with his ultimate.
Precious bounty.
Does Dire got any of theirs? Solar Prism on Nico's pretty good, especially when you're going to the Aghanims. You see no need here for the Silencer, considering he's already got his Octarine, and remind me that they don't pair together, right, with the recent change.
Anything that's percentage based in terms of cooldown reduction does not stack at all. Additively, multiplicatively, does not matter.
Allies disappear.
If it's still like minus 10 seconds or something, and then plus a percentage, that works. Not percent and percent.
For Dire, they're also going to love having the flicker on the Silencer. They're harming Dire. Health. Take up as well. Might actually just be enough to keep him alive, but he hasn't TP'd out instantly. Isn't that going to cost him? Oh! Don't move, don't move. Okay, okay.
I was like, who was it last time that did
Wait,
that?
they're actually taking the fight. They know that he can reach over the Solar Guardian. Forced nicely played. They tried to U-turn back around. Natsumi still has the BKB Satanic as well. Also had a very early usage of the Rolling Thunder. They've been able to reset their position over the backline. Nico forcing the hand of a main dice. Not the greatest usage of the ultimate that they were looking for. They're going to turn back around there. They've got the higher gun advantage. They're going to have to show their hand now once again, compromising their position with the higher gun that they have as Wami's charging on forward. It's going to look to the jewel on Natsumi, but Natsumi doesn't give a damn. It gives a turn and man fight. The Satanic Kill was hot previously. With 3 down, the Army Geniuses, all your hopes and a prayer is on DB to turn this in their favor. He'll attempt the BKB to the TP out and he will be successful. Lim as well.
Even more easy damage coming through from Natsumi there, like you mentioned. Getting that Satanic off means that he was able to quickly turn the fight around, and even the bonus attack speed coming through from the Blood Rage meant that plus 50 damage now going over to Natsumi.
Jesus. How much is that? Nico, nice force into the blink. Cut down the sky. Let's have a buyback, Nico. be protected for a little while. UK still looking to penalize this. The U-turn doesn't find the last connection. We're going to try and prevent the gyrocopter from right-clicking. We give it a cooldown to Teddy gets well. Let's stop him to his grave. He's going to buy back luckily, but that's a huge one to force out here from Polaris.
Can't buy back solo at this point. You want to see if they're tempted into going for another lane of racks. I mean, why wouldn't you, though, on Polaris right now? Maybe just the lack of creeps, but still feeling very confident.
Let's keep you safe.
Reset of Barry's claim mid, trying to turn into a secondary one as well. They're looking for a pick-off. Wommy and Sky combined together.
Gotta be back, though.
They're going to have to buy back as soon as they jump. Max showing himself in the middle. Who do they want? They're trying to find a bullet seeker. The missing break combined up. Is it damage enough? It looks like it might be. Dolica, I am down. A kill on Natsumi. A big streak to find. They should be able to chase down CML as well. They have detection. They don't have the gem. In fact, CML is going to get out of dodge with the gem stolen. That's a nice one at least to find, but the damage has been done. A full set of barracks claim mid, along with the melee barracks claim down bottom.
Very nicely done. I thought there's no way they would be able to burst down Natsumi, but good comment. We need to use the buyback on the gyrocopter. That's honestly the biggest part of it all. Alright. Armed as hell. The DK more farmed than the LC. Able to pick up a full sheep stick.
What's he going? 5, 8, and 19. Actually, neck and neck with the DK. That's Yep. What do you? I mean, with how farmed he is, what do you want the next item to be then for the Mirana?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The link would be that bad. Place it onto someone else on the team.
There's big issues now that Max 25. He's been it for a while, in fact, but you've got that last word mute. Very troubling now for the side of Army Genius. Simultaneously, DB just hitting his own 25, so minus 6 seconds in the flat cannon cooldown. Rapier. Okay, let's go. We got a win condition on Army Genius, or like you said last time, that it was the lose condition.
Was it like 20 seconds that the game lasted?
Yeah.
After the rest of the call there?
Remember the storm that just picked it up and then that's so
Ready.
good old. Okay. Well, he's very close.
Pick up and take rush. Like, that's going to be the key.
This will do.
Probably pick it up, go for a pick up with the LC. If you can catch the silencer, that's going to be the most ideal situation. With sheep stick,
They're coming. He's not going to have enough time. Oh no. UK. They're actually going to target Gyro. Global Sanchu's very early to fight. If Army Genius gets him reset on the backline, or maybe they're just looking for the full retreat, they're going to give them the opportunity though. A buyback coming into the play. Once again, Wommy. So much survivability for the frontline cores. Looks like Polaris still sticking around, but Mangdai is going to be cautious with his own position. And BKB still in the final. But is this enough time for the Rapier? It is. They're going to scout this out instantly though. Dire have a great ward on the higher ground, although smoke so they won't see it. Maybe they can take them off guard here with this Rapier pickup. They should be able to scout it out now with a jump in to Black Cannon. Let's see how much work it's really going to be able to do here. A couple of crits, but he's targeting down Nico. Forward out to enable the gyrocopter. Now they're looking at man fight. DB winning at the moment. Natsumi's going to be cautious. He'll look to reset, but the BKB is about to expire, but luckily enough, he's got the movement speed. Back out to safety, simultaneously on the high gun by the triangle. Army Genius, they've lost 2. They've got to regroup. You can't get split up. You've already lost 2 of your heroes. Jewel off to the side once again. Natsumi is going to be caught, and this time they won't give victory. A buyback instantly looking to rejoin the fray. Again, it's all on DB. Stay right next to him. Natsumi, he'll just block back. If they can chase him down, another round of the global silence. Natsumi's in trouble. Somehow resetting himself there, but Army Geniuses, they're standing strong off the back. The Rapier, Roche is up as well. If they can take this and give a second life to DB, then there's an opportunity.
I mean, able to negate a big losing position for yourself. We can see here Wami as well. I don't think it'll end up costing him, but the fact that he has to retreat all this way to bait any kind of push into themselves might be a bit of an issue.
She's on the ground. Boomy will get it. They really need Wami here. The survivability with the Aghanim's press the attack. At least DB has the Aegis. Satanic used early, but he's not really getting much back from the Hex. At least the Psychic is enough. He's got his main dieback. The Jewel's out. He's not going to win it. Army Geniuses. They'll find CML as well. Is the detection there?
Radiant's bottom barracks.
Moonlight Shadow's a long duration. Who else they found? It looks like Boomy. And Wami, he's the one with the gem. Oh my lord, there's no way. Go with the objectives, Wami just gets the cheese off in the nick of time. Boomy will scurry away, but can they get anything out of the buyback? So the dieback.
Best to try and clear out this creep wave again.
They're setting up. Well, with Sans. Are they going to be able to find him? They weren't enough. CMO cost him his own life there. He's also down. That's a dieback. Oh man, what a TP. Wami? He's got the gem. He's got the gem. Wami again. You gotta hope Max got a buyback here, otherwise there might be a huge way back into this.
Have the buyback. You can understand the play that the Lion was going for, right? Like, you need to try and put attention onto the enemy side of the map, force them to defend, give Bloodseeker time to be able to respawn.
Wait, Nico? He doesn't have buyback.
A fair ways away, though. Long traveling Buster Rocket.
Out here, there's screams. Nothing more.
They see Nico coming through the river.
He's trying to go for Vegas. It's rat Dota right now for Boomy.
Nico's just doing the job for the team. Look at a couple of the creeps, not all. Oh, you have to cancel the TP, so they won't have Miranda for the defense. Panko's not there as well. This full set of barracks clean. They're just going to look to end it. They're going to. Create space for DB as much as possible. They can just utilize the backhander to push them away as well. I mean, Natsumi's up in a couple seconds, but if they get the jewel before the Satanic, I don't know if he can stand his ground. T4's down. They have to rely on the glyph here. They need to rejoin on all the heroes to look to jump in. He still has the Aegis for another 2 minutes on DB. He's just clean off the throw. They need an editor with the gyrocopter. Where's it going to come through? They'll temper the global, but the instant is Satanic. DB turning. He'll find the Dragon Eye. Now Natsumi's the next target as well. Look at the crit. Natsumi just makes it back to base, but DB still objective base gaming with the glyph on cooldown. Bloodseeker, he needs to try and protect the throne. DB gets to clean off Nico. They know he brought back previously. Jewel will prevent him. They don't have the gyrocopter to clean him off. That's the Earthsmack to control him. They'll lose the gyro with the first light, but still the throne. He might just try to try and clean it off. Can he do it enough? Bangworks himself with the beacon lock cooldown. He can't do anything now. The Wraith is about to fall. I don't know if he can keep fighting. DB trying to rely on the Satanic side going out. Somehow he's doing it, but it's not enough.
Oh, they had a chance to just hit the throne. He had the rapier and he was just waiting around trying to clear up another hero, but it's like 4 hits away with that gyrocopter. Couldn't have possibly thrown away the unthrowable game, could they?
Oh no, he bought Scotty too, so he doesn't have enough for another rapier.
Let me die.
What a game. That's it. That has to be it, right? I don't know how you hold this.
Back in the air.
Trying to, use every brain cell in my body, but onto the back lines, which there's nothing that you can TP into in quick enough time to maybe get a Devastator in onto that throne.
Alright, well, they don't siege as fast with I mean, he's got a rapier. They're just gonna go the safe route, getting the megas first. How long till, I mean, all buybacks are down, it doesn't even matter. Legion, 2 minutes. DB just ate an arrow. DB just ate an arrow. It's not gonna cost him. They're trying to target down Natsumi. That's a perfect use of the chain lockdown rapier. It's officially back on the deck. Someone has to pick it up. Boomy, the snatch and grab. Successfully got out with the rapier. What is going on?
What does Boomy have to do in this game, man? He's doing everything, getting a crazy amount of farm, making rotations, Moonlight Shadow's on point, and they're securing the rapiers so they don't just turn it around, run down into your base. Try and take this one. So at the 51.5-minute mark, that was the first mega melee creep wave. The ones pushing in are still super melee creeps, so they're going to have a little bit easier time to try and defend against that wave in particular. Mangdaya, he's looking to push down here, but I don't know if you can rely on your Solar Guardian to try and join the rest of your team. I feel like Polaris are going to know that they need to save that.
DB brought out for Sunjin Yasha as well, so they are all in on this commitment. They're going to try and find the jump once again. The Global Stance, they need a way to get this off the Legion for the press attack. Lotus Orb will at least protect the Gyro. So wasted the Global now. Mangdaya instantly straight onto the map, but a forced-up reposition. UK would have fallen once again. The throw, it's so low, they might just target it over the deep. DB is going to do just that, and the throw fall, and Army Geniuses will somehow, some way, find an avenue to take this second game and tie the series.
Oh.
Radiant's turn to ban. It is Dire's ban. Radiant's turn to ban. Dire's turn to ban. Radiant must choose. Dire's turn to pick. Dire's turn to pick.
Vengeful spirits.
Second, Radiant's turn to pick.
Mirana.
Haven't seen the clinks either.
Seconds.
As well. So we'll see what they're looking to do. I want to see some cool swap combinations with that arrow as well. That's always one of the things that I really great coordination. Yeah, and I feel like ever since back in TI3, the Orange Esports days, that's what's been C's specialty.
Well, they had the pickings of whatever carry they wanted to pair the IO with, and Gyrocopter is going to be the choice. You feel like there's a little bit of recency bias coming into it with how well we saw it perform in the last game?
10 seconds.
I don't think Boom have taken that into consideration at all. To be perfectly honest, they know what works together well with their lineup, and you know the IO is something that not necessarily only them, but I'd say Boom are the ones favoring it the most. Think back to the classic IO.
It is Radiant's ban. It is Dire's ban.
Together with the Gyrocopter, you're going to have more capabilities to actually deal out damage to the likes of the Vengeful Spirit and the Mirana, as opposed to getting kited around like a Sven. I want to see a Night Stalker. Oh, no, it's Ben. I mean, that's one of the best combos in my opinion, right? Like a Gyrocopter and a Night Stalker, it almost guarantees that your Flat Cannon's going to get insane value.
Is there... So are you just basing that just purely off the vision? Is that why you were...
Yeah.
So is there anyone else you feel like could fulfill that void?
10 seconds remain. 5 seconds remain. Dire's turn to pick.
Enge, Execration already have it. Mars, a decent amount of vision, but Execration have gotten rid of that as well. So clearly they might be thinking along the same sort of wavelength. Anything that kind of provides that little bit of extra understanding is going to be very effective.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
I wouldn't hate it with IO. Like I that's the old head often. So I'm a big fan. I just we saw
Seconds remain.
And one IO and a Gyrocopter, you're going to be splitting that experience quite heavily. So Gyro's not going to be this mega carry that's super front. Yes, he's going to have a ton of gold, but experience not so much. So we'll see if Boom. But it's also important that you have someone that's able to take area or maximizing the efficiency of what you're able to obtain on the map. A good look to keep are able to farm in some ups in the rest of the team. Taken away the team themselves, which is what I thought they might have opted to go for.
Bloodseeker.
Okay.
so
10 seconds.
now this is going to be a little bit different. I'm presuming to pick the Pangoli here. Bit of an issue that you're now going up against Bob Storm Spirit, who is an incredible player on this hero, and you don't have
10 seconds.
to heavily prioritize their next hero to be looking to counter the Storm Spirit as much really is there left. I mean, you need your mid hero most likely, and something like an Invoker. Maybe you can try and get some snapping onto him and burn plus BKB. You feel kind of worthless. Creation want to play. Obviously, their man do find the IO as quickly as possible. It's fantastic at being able to do that. Wouldn't surprise me if they opted to go for something like a Spectre either with their last pick overall to be able to counter this. Just again, another way to find the IO to give a lot more information. Some of the squishier heroes in the line and the Mirana.
I'm trying to think of any carries that Execration don't care about picking into the Blood Wukongs. They've got decent control to keep them in. The Deuce is my other thought, but then you've got 5 range, and I feel like the lane Lion Deucer might be penalized a bit too much. I guess we should look at Booms though, because they've got the 23rd pick. So is there, what do you feel like are the and what they need to fix right now in their draft here for Boom, and preferably of course being occurred in the last pick?
Just how do you counter the Storms? You know, they've already got rid of the Lina. Might be looking to go for something like a Void Spirit. Like lane to lane matchup, it's even-ish against Storm, but it also provides them with a lot of that quick pick-off potential that I feel like they're lacking. You know, they are very much ramp-up damage. Now they got rid of the Invoker, so similar sort of mentality with just being able to try and lock down the Storm as much. I think they're going to...
and Ember are always kind of the go-to ones. Their lane versus Storm's not the greatest. If you're feeling like you're lacking a little bit of damage, wait at least with the burst, but Ember can do a lot better to be a nuisance on the back line. Just feels like your movement's a little bit better as the game goes on. But I think the Void Spirit does better with Storm in a carry-to-carry matchup. They're going to go Queen of Pain instead. So it's a good lane.
It is a good lane. It's the best lane of all of them. It's just what you're going to do after that. Like, let's say Storm Spirit's level 12. How are you going to be able to play around that with the extra movement speed coming out? I suppose they don't have a ton of save outside of the bench.
Seconds remain.
We're assuming it's going to be Raging Potatoes hero.
I want to feel a 1 venge. Sounds like a hater.
Please no. I will eat this Tip Tam if it is. I'll eat it anyway.
Ultimate choice.
They do go back into the Deucer. I wasn't convinced when I brought it up, but it's definitely not the worst matchup versus the Bloodseeker at all. The Gyrocopter is a pretty good matchup for the Deucer as well. Kyra's not a hero that is traditionally one of the biggest counters to Deucer. Like, you can't outrange her, you kind of have to go brute force into her. Could Palace go Diffusal?
Potentially. I mean, it looks decent, but I feel like you can't go first. The reason that you picked this IO is so that you can have the ability to scale and farm and be super greedy. So Diffusal's not going to...
Gosh, so they've still got a lot of series left remaining.
I mean, put Execration ahead then, if that's the case. You know, they've got potential for more wins, but you know, we can't bash Liquid. It gives us so much value.
Dude, Liquid, I don't know what I would do without Liquipedia.
Yeah, I'd be a mess.
I would legitimately be a mess. I mean, I'm sure there would be an
Casting, and I go there just to see what time's the cast start again.
shame. Is my go-to. Look at the love to Palos as well. At least and like I could use it in a way right. See, I've thought about it a little bit. It's just because like when I think of Palos, I think of Execration.
30 seconds to battle.
So that's the conclusion that I've come to. He's gone Tangos into Wraithband. This is a peculiar move.
Look at this, like, this conga line.
They just saw Palos just saw the line. Yeah. It doesn't. They're not positioning away like they seem like they did. Or maybe they were just baiting as Ragey Potato. About to give up first blood. And get it against his old team, and BDZ nowhere to run as well. I think there's no.
Maybe 3. Maybe 4. So I did like the way that they were thinking of doing that. Unaware, the tier 2 tower.
Oh, they got. Okay, I'm all boom.
What, the first blood and the second kill after that wasn't enough for you?
No. Just the 4 bounties is icing on the cake. You're against boom? Shake my head. What was your prediction into it? Got a little bit of inside knowledge now.
I didn't make one.
We're leaning.
I honestly, since you didn't ask, I was still reeling over that Rapier game. I'll be.
We sped up the break as well to one out, considering a bit behind schedule. I'm appreciative as well, considering I worked previously. Poor CTM. The ball of light was playing with his stick charges. Oh, this is cannot really pull them away from contesting the IO, but CTM will get enough distance. Is a beast. Like we saw how he was able to perform on Neon multiple times. I've seen already how Boom have been able to gel incredibly well together, and we've seen one of these games that may have played an X-Line that we haven't seen through the Pro Series, and they looked very, very good on it when they played, and I feel like they have already multiple ways to be able to set up for the IO Relocate +1. Now, I do think they're lacking. I think Co-op can kind of enable that a little bit.
I don't think that the main concern is how do you kill the storms.
Sure.
And stuff. He wasn't one of the ones that died super early on, so even though your fight is slightly ahead on the experience front, it shouldn't hurt him that
Bob's
much.
dead.
Is he?
Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
To go for a dive here. He has skilled up all of his skills. Blink dagger to go underneath the tower. I thought he might have tried to do it, as long as he wasn't hitting the tower, hitting Bob. Got it off another wave of his spells. Get killed without drawing the aggro.
So do you believe this game's very reliant on Bob to give then Tino space to find the farm for the Deucer to maybe where she can then be the raid boss that they require?
Yeah, I mean, you need to. I think the way that you're going to do that is just make sure that the Deuce's farm is superior relative to the gyrocopter, and the way you do that is by being able to pick off the IO consistently. And I feel like with the Storm Spirit, if he's playing on point, you certainly do have the ability to do that, right? Like you can even just look to use the Finger of Death in combination with a Storm Spirit once he gets his first key item.
See, they do have some lanes he can rotate to. I mean, you've at least got a stun top, which makes it a lot easier. Bottom lane is probably going to be the target for Bob. I think this game is going to be a lot of emphasis on, of course, where the stacking is going to come into play. CTM needs a hero nearby for the tether. Just find it, but you've got a Medusa who even though Dota might slowly be shifting towards a game that's not as reliant on stacking, Deucer is still a hero that needs that, and you've got an Io and a Jar. Like, you need stacks for these heroes, so it's going to be... My eyes are at least early on how the position forwards can kind of secure the creep equilibrium for their threes and then start to make the stacks.
Incredibly aggressive in this mid lane. I think Bob's dead here.
It's like this time he well and truly might be enough. This is scary because Yopaj, he's got the ultimate if he wants to put 11 in it. More than likely it will. I wonder if it just shoves out the lane to base because he needs some mana for the Sonic Wave. In fact, he's still got a bounty there. So now this gets difficult because Storm level 6 feels like you don't have as much kill threat on the Queen of Pain. His Execration should be able to put themselves finally on the board. Okay, maybe if they miss again. Okay. I was gonna say 2 misses in a row. It's not your lucky day.
To get some kind of trade back coming out here, but I mean, if you haven't already, have a look over at the net worth. It is a very clear advantage going over towards Boom's lineup. So the fact that the laning stage is so dominant again. The Bob's a fantastic Storm Spirit player, and you know the Queen of Pain might be a better hero. The big difference was the experience at early level 1. So he's really, unfortunately, whoever's idea that was to go for the conga line and didn't execute it to perfection, you've kind of screwed Bob here because he's able to fail to the same extent as this.
Just look how they're playing. They really want to continue to put
The price is mine.
in the grave. They're just making sure he does not get a game at all. It is you scout this out, but I believe raiding with their ward on the high ground instantly are aware of this. You've seen the commitment though, like Boom blocked the small camp previously, they blocked the hard camp as well after the double stack. They just, and Dire, they've done the same thing. They blocked the Radiant Ancients but haven't blocked the hard, so it does feel like either team is pretty aware of what this game is going to entail.
Out of my way.
More passive. I mean, at least for the Storm Spirit, he's up to level 6, so he's got a little bit of that extra mobility. Exactly where he is though. Having come back all the way to base, that does mean that he try and make a play because it feels like they're approaching that desperation territory here. Long time back in base though. But he's got that overload charge ready. Make a TP out, but again, none of the lanes are pushed in. You've given a full wave over to Raging Potato, but I mean, how often do you see your mid laner have less experience than your off lane at 7 star? That's how bad this game is going. Execration right now.
And do you feel like Gyrocopter is a hero that doesn't need as much farm than what the Medusa does to come online?
Yes, but it's more the fact that you've got an IO pair together with you, so you're going to be buffed up incredibly purely with that. With that little ball, I mean, CTM, he's not a Valve simp. He doesn't want the companion queue. He's totally fine with the ball.
He's got the taunt. He's somewhat of a simp.
I mean, I feel like that's more of a thing just to make Skem feel good, you know?
So what's wrong with the little love hearts? Storm would have loved that regen, unfortunately. It won't happen in the Arsenal. Tino will be forced to TP out. There's no way to cancel that one, but they can chase down Ara nonetheless with Yopaj and play hard. Michael, your courier, please. Ow.
They're probably just going to go take the stacks as well. It's not that many, but it's what Deucer was taking before she was forced to TP back to base.
And you see how...
5k net worth lead, 8.5.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Well, they still don't have RR's level 6 too. They really need this to get a kill, it feels like. Maybe FBZ without the... I mean, he's got Treads and Cloak. Survive through all the damage, so point blank arrows enough. Even Tino feels like a level 5 and has to somehow get involved, but Yopaj, just a statement Sonic wave to bring down Ryan. It was almost enough to clean off Bob. Now he's going to be a bit cautious here. The Storm's actually going to dip back on in and get a big kill on the Queen of Pain, but the only issue is wait, Bob out? RR gets quite the ravage. Now he's actually going to try and turn it back around to the high ground. Play around with some of the build charges. One more available and Bob's out. Okay, so some silver linings.
It's only a 4K net worth lead now at 9.5 minutes. Producer wasn't there for a fair point. Get it from this wave up top, but
is in danger.
Make sure she gets it. I mean, you got maxed out Wave of Terror, so this will be a lot easier.
got haste there on the Pango. He should be able to get away fairly easily. Without the Finger of Death, it's always going to be much more difficult prospects.
Incoming. When fight breaks out, the issue they've shown up. Tino and Yabib, they have to burst without the Finger. This is the objective. This is your way back into the game for execration. They're able to see how sustainable he is on the drive. The Yopaj again. A huge jump in forward. We're building a massive amount of damage. Just clean up show. Yopaj is even good stage, but that's not enough. So